What's happening, Hot Wheelers? Joe Motor here. Welcome back to the Motor Hood. Thought it was time to show you some of the pieces that I picked up from the Vintage Toy Show last weekend. I posted the video of walking around the toy show. I hope you had a chance to check it out and see a little bit about what it was like. It was certainly an enjoyable experience. There was a lot more going on there than I had expected, and I certainly came home with a lot less money in my wallet, that's for sure. I spent way too much money, but it was so much fun I couldn't help myself, and I certainly didn't come home with all the pieces I wanted to, but that's the way it goes, and I have some pieces on my list now that I'll be hunting down in the future. But I thought I'd show you some of the cars and pieces that I did pick up, and I thought this particular video I'd show you all the Matchbox pieces. I actually picked up quite a few vintage Matchbox, which I don't normally go after, but I don't normally see a whole lot of vintage Matchbox out there. And so since this was my first sort of experience at a vintage toy show, I really got turned on to some of the vintage Matchbox pieces. And one of the great things about the show was that I found a couple of pieces that I had in my collection as a kid and didn't remember until I saw them at the show. And so that was just really cool to have sort of this go down memory lane a little bit, and these pieces just show up that all of a sudden triggered these memories. So this one right here is certainly one of them. This is a little tanker truck from Matchbox, and this was like released in the 70s, but I definitely remember having this piece in my collection and pulling this piece around my little play sets and stuff. Really cool little piece, and I can't believe it was just so cool to see it, and then all of a sudden these memories just sort of floated back in. But I'll show you the base to show you which one it is. It's from the super fast Matchbox, the freeway gas tanker, and this piece back here is plastic on the bottom with a metal top, and then you have the Chevron sticker there on the side, and some details here on the plastic molding, just some gauges and dials and things that go along with it. But just a super cute little rig right here, man. It's really cool. It fits right on the ball right there, and then you can just move it all around. It just moves around like a little serpentine, and really cool. And here's the cab. Show you it up close. Just really funny, kind of cute little cab here with the two stumpy wheels, but really cool shape and design on the side. And then on the base here, I'll show you 1973, made in England. So I definitely remember having this piece, and it was really cool to see it in this guy's collection, and I instantly grabbed it up from him because I hadn't seen a piece like this in I don't know how many years. So let me know, anybody out there that had this piece, or those of you who see the pieces coming up, if you remember them, feel free to chime in the comments below. But that was a great find, and it wasn't very expensive, so I immediately started having fun. So we'll put that back there. Another piece that I had in my collection as a kid that popped up was this piece right here. This is a Matchbox, like a Ford Courier camper truck, and this is pretty minty actually. And one of the things I loved about these old metal castings is just that thick, really nice metal casting details here on the grill. You can see in the front, you can see Ford towards the right of the grill there, very tiny details. But those inset headlights, the license plate, just really great detail there. And then it's got kind of this fire engine red color all the way around with carved out details. And then the camper here, really great condition. It's a little dusty on the top, but really nice details. It's plastic, of course, sitting on a metal casting. But this one I definitely also had in my collection. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I've got it back now, that's for sure. So here's the base. I'll show you the thing here. It says Camper, 1979, made in England. Lesney products from the Superfast series. Very cool. This one's pretty common, I think. I think I've seen this on eBay maybe a long time ago, but it certainly brought back memories seeing it in person, so I brought it home with me. Another piece that I think I may have had, I can't remember actually, but this is what they call a Roll-O-Matic. And this is based on a Ford F-Series truck, I think, and you can see on top here the really cool tampo, the elephant, and it says Ranger which is pretty neat. It's got red tinted windows and a little bit of suspension. Got the vintage Matchbox wheels. Show you some of the details of the truck. You go forward there on the back, and then here's the grill work. Again, beautiful casted details in the metal, really great. And then here's the base that shows you Rollomatics, the wildlife truck made in England, 1973. So the Rollomatic, if you don't know, is actually this piece in the back, and I'll raise up my camera here just a little bit so you can see, hopefully, that when I move it, it rolls around. You see it rolling around there? So there were several different models that did this. Let's see if I can make it any better just so you can see it. You can sort of see it moving around there. But the idea was you'd roll this down and that the circle in the back there would spin around. And on the original piece, there's actually a little plastic lion that sits on the little disc back here, firmly on those little pegs there, and the lion would circle around in a circle. And I think there was a clear camper shell on the back of this as well. So the piece in its original condition had some extra components to it, but I like it even without those components. It's a cool looking truck. But I would love to find the minty original with the lion and the clear plastic camper. I think it's probably pretty hard to find in mint condition with all those pieces. But still a very unique looking truck there, and it definitely goes along with my vintage truck collection. So there is that one. Now here's a piece that the only non-Matchbox of the lot. This is a Majorette, and that is called the Big Chief, and it is a huge big chunk of a casting. Look at this thing. So it's got kind of an orangey yellow color, and then these orange decals with the mean blacked out tires. They probably weren't blacked out in the original, but I kind of like them blacked out. And then look at the suspension on this thing. It just rocks. Serious suspension, and it's probably loosened up over the years, but man is it cool. It's a beast. Look at this thing. See if I can get down here low and give you a sense of just this big old thing. So I love the off-road pieces, and this particular one just really caught my eyes. It's got a really cool tampo design, really cool stance. Love how that sits there a little bit down low in the front, and the Big Chief logos and insignia there, just super cool. Red interior here. You can see some texture on the interior. I'll show you the base real quick. It's a Majorette Cherokee, made in France. Very cool. And then the coolest thing about it is this dog that's sitting here in the back. Check it out. So you got your little man's best friend back here in the back, ready to go off-roading with you. And then you can actually open this up, and there he sits. So even though he's been dipped in red paint, he's sitting there ready to rock and roll. And I think inside there you also see what appears to be a dog bed. I don't know if that's what that is, but I'm assuming that's what it is. It's a little bed for the dog. I doubt he's sleeping when you're jumping over hills and going through the mud, but I assume that's what that is. But just really cool little details that you don't see a whole lot of anymore, and just exemplifies what that vintage toy show is all about. So I had to get that. This isn't the only Majorette I have, so you know, sometimes I just pick up a piece because it's so unique, and you don't see it anywhere. But definitely pick this one up for the collection, and it fits in the display case too. So rock and roll. Here's another piece. This is now going into the sort of Matchbox Lesney series, which I've never really collected before, but when I saw this guy who had quite a few of them, I fell in love with these. These are just super cool castings, very basic, but they're all metal, and they still have a lot of character and detail that predates a lot of the early Hot Wheels that I go after too. So I'd planned on, you know, just kind of focusing on Black Walls and Real Riders, and then ended up taking home quite a few of these Lesney pieces. So this one here is actually a Jeep Gladiator, and look at these details on the front. That's what I love about these, is they're very basic and simple, but they do have quite a bit of really nice embellished casting details all around. And I really actually enjoy that it's sort of beat up Just has an extra sort of junkyard look to it when it has those scratches and bumps on it and stuff. So here's the Jeep logo on the back, and there's the bed for you. All white interior and opening doors, which is, it's not something you see much anymore, especially on Matchbox. So that's pretty cool. Both sides open. Check that out. Very cool. And then the base here I'll show you, Jeep Gladiator, made in England by Lesney. So doesn't show the year, which I wish it did, but it's got a number. It says number 71, so I'm sure it's pretty easy to look that up and find out exactly what year that was produced. But fantastic little red truck there. And then looks like maybe the model they updated to maybe a year or two later was this model, which is more of a Ford F-Series sort of step-side truck. Same wheel style, but a little bit more updated in terms of the castings. A little more I don't know, refined, I guess. But here's this really cool utility bed tailgate here, the Ford insignia. Really nice shape to that. And then here's the bed. And going around the side, this one's in better condition, obviously. No opening doors though. Here's the white painted front, and I'm guessing that's original paint, but it sort of looks like it was repainted, but I don't know for sure. I'm not sure if that would be a restored characteristic or not, but it doesn't really bother me anyway. There's the interior and the little step side details there. Just a really beautiful profile on that truck. Really enjoy that. And here's the base, the Ford pickup, Matchbox Series number 6. So that is super cool. Going in the display case for sure. Let's see, what's next here? A friend of mine down in Texas is probably going to be interested in this piece. There were quite a few of these that I found that were damaged. They were either missing a tire or the yellow piece on top was broken. And I did see one that was pristine in a box, but it was quite a bit more expensive than I was ready to pay for. But this one I found in a little loose lot, and all the pieces were intact. It's a little beat up, but it's still pretty cool. And look at the suspension on this thing. Just really interesting movement on it. And that is a casting you just don't see ever. And it rolls pretty nice. Going out to explore. And a little plastic yellow piece on top here, which I assume comes off. I haven't really tried to pull it off, but it comes right off. So it's pretty amazing that that yellow piece stayed with it this long, because most of the time those pieces and parts are long gone. But PJ, you can let me know if you're interested in that, and it might be in a box headed down south. Pretty cool. And speaking of BP, there was another piece I picked up, a little bit more beat up here, but in any case it's still pretty rad looking. Again, I really don't mind some of the beat upness of these cars, as long as you can see some of the tampo detail and color. You know, who cares? It looks cool. The cool thing about this piece is that the cab moves down, flips down, so you can see the engine down in there, which is really cool. And that just harkens back to the old you know, genuine die cast kind of stuff that you just don't see a whole lot of anymore. But that is just a really cool feature. And then I'll show you the front here of this truck, which I think it says Bedford on the front. Just look at that gnarly vintage beat up front there. Perfect for a junkyard diorama. Just wicked looking there. That is super cool. Don't mind it being beat up at all. Love it. So let's look at the base. Petrol tanker, made in England by Lesney. So I guess they just didn't put the years on these back then, but like I said, number 25 Matchbox series, you should be able to look that up and determine exactly when these were made. And there was another one of these that was pristine in the original box, but they wanted a pretty penny for those. So let me know, PJ, if you're interested in that. Might come down with the Explorer truck there. So these last three pieces here were just three of my favorites that I couldn't leave the show without. Starting with this one right here. This thing This one might be my favorite out of all of them, and it just is. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, if you're a Lesney collector and you're watching, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, but I had never seen this piece, and the stance of it, the shape of it, the color, even the imperfections and the you know, the scratches and things. I love everything about it. It's just got such a cool look to it. It's sort of a gray white. It's kind of a dark white or a lighter gray color, and you can see the sort of embellished metal casting details in the front. Very cool, just old vintage truck style. It's got little details on the side here, little gas tank in the back, and then this bed, the scoop here, is just incredible. I love that orange color, and I love the fact that it's kind of worn off, so you see that raw metal underneath. Just looks like it has worked itself to death, and but still intact enough to look like it could start up and rumble a little bit, if you know what I mean. So I am extremely proud of this piece, and turned out to be one of the favorite pieces that I left with. And it even has the dually wheels in the back. Let's see if I can get a close up of that. Really, really cool. I could show you this piece all night long. Look at that. I just love it. Anybody who likes to collect the sort of junkyard or beat up pieces, that is a little gem right there. So that one is definitely going in the display case, and this one actually, I don't think it even says, yeah, there it is. I missed it before, but there it is, made in England by Lesney, and then the number down in there is number 16, and it's called a Scamel snowplow, and they spell plow the old-fashioned English way there. So anyway, rock and roll. That is a cool piece right there. All right, moving on. Could spend the next hour showing you that piece. This one right here is also killer. Little Land Rover here, and kind of an army green. It's pretty gnarly. It's kind of beat up, but it's still got most of the paint, and the plastic piece on top is pretty intact. But again, beautiful details on the front here, the casting. Nice texture on the grill there. Nice little lights, and then on the side, nice profile. Got the steering wheel on the opposite side and the white interior. Here's some of the detail on the piece of plastic there, just in case you're curious. And on the back, we do have a little bit of a damage in the window. Somebody threw a rock through the window. You also have a tow hitch back here. And at the show, there was an auction, and they actually had a full case of these in the original packages. And man, did I keep looking at that, but I think it bid well over $500 once they were done with it, which was probably still cheap, because these kinds of things in their original packages, you know, are pretty rare. So, but you know, I didn't want to spend my whole set of cash on that one thing. But there's this one, Land Rover Safari is what they call that one. Made in England. And this one has a plastic base, by the way. So it's a little lighter than I would like it to be, but still, look at that. Just a really cool piece there. And then the final piece that these pieces that are just so unique, and I can't live without them. Here is the Renaissance TV service van from Matchbox. This is, again, I'm not sure exactly what year it is, but it's even got a moonroof. Check it out. Very cool. And I think it has a ladder that's supposed to go with it, and an antenna that's supposed to fit in this little hole here. The guy who sold it to me said you can find those pieces and parts online, but I don't know that I'll actually, go after it. It seems pretty cool just the way it is. I love that the Tampo, the sticker there, is still intact. And look at the front here. Just look at that. You don't see this character in any diecast, modern diecast really, at all. Just beautiful detail there. Very nice. Here on the side, love those little little wheels there, sort of look like the poverty caps that James Shear always talks about. And in the back you have this opening rear hatch, so you can actually sort of look inside there all the way back through to the front. It's a little bit difficult to get back down, but it's pretty easy to pull up. See if I can get it back down. There we go. So there it is all the way down. And then you can, just sort of pull it up. Probably won't do that too many more times. It's not in the best shape, but it is still a looker, and it will look really good in the display case. So here it is, TV service fan number 62. So that is the extent of the loose Matchbox collection, minus the one Majorette back here, the monster Majorette. But I was just thrilled to find these kind of pieces, and again, I probably spent more money than I should, but I was just like a kid in a candy store, like many of you guys would be if you were in there as well. So let me know what you think if you've come across any of these pieces, and in the comments below. And I'll be back in another video soon to show you the loose Hot Wheels that I picked up, and more videos on the way. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.